Welcome to a custom-tailored deep dive, where, well, our mission today is to examine a single, highly intriguing source text. And it actually consists entirely of just one compelling premise, which is why some cars last 300,000 kilometers and others don't.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique setup for us today.
Right, so okay, let's unpack this, because the material we have today is literally just this solitary title. It's like finding a treasure map that only shows the X with absolutely no path drawn to get there.
Well, I love that analogy. It's just the destination, nothing else.
Exactly. I mean, we know the ultimate goal is surviving to that massive 300,000 kilometer milestone, but the text leaves the exact mechanics of that journey entirely up to our curiosity. Like, how does a vehicle actually survive millions of combustions and just endless friction?
What's fascinating here is how that single sentence sets up a surprisingly stark dichotomy right out of the gate. I mean, it implies that automotive longevity isn't just some random roll of the dice on the assembly line.
Right, like some cars are just lucky to survive.
Exactly. It pushes back on that idea. It suggests a distinct division. Like certain vehicles are mechanically equipped to achieve that massive milestone, while others are just fundamentally bound to fail.
Wait, hold on though. A strict binary division. Are you saying my car dies early just because of some, I don't know, structural destiny baked in at the factory? And not just because I hit too many potholes or maybe skipped an oil change?
Well, that's the thing. By giving us just this premise, it strips away the make, the model, the brand.
Yeah.
It forces us to look at that 300,000 kilometer mark as a definitive filter.
Right, but without the rest of the text, how do we explain why that filter actually exists in the first place?
Yeah, that's where we have to dig into the physics of endurance. If we look at the engineering reality to fill in the blanks of this title, the division usually comes down to something totally invisible, like thermal management.
Thermal management. Okay, so dealing with heat.
Exactly. Think about the engine block. Over a decade, you have these constant extreme heating and cooling cycles. And over time, that warps metal and degrades rubber seals.
Okay, so it's not just that parts simply wear out over time, like the soles of your shoes or something. You're saying an engine's ability to shed heat ultimately dictates if the oil stays slick or bakes into sludge.
Right. Because when oil breaks down, usually because the engine runs too hot, friction increases exponentially, and that is the actual killer.
Oh, wow. So the heat kills the oil and then the bad oil kills the engine.
You got it. A car that reaches 300,000 kilometers often has an over-engineered cooling system or incredibly precise metal tolerances that prevent that cascading heat failure. So when the title pits some cars against others, it's really pointing toward those hidden engineering choices.
I see. But I have to push back a little here because it can't just be the engineering, right? I mean, we all know someone who drove a notoriously unreliable car into the ground, way past 300,000 kilometers, simply because they were fanatical about maintenance.
Oh, sure. And that is exactly the tension this premise creates. This raises an important question about the unseen variables hidden right behind this title. Since we don't have the step-by-step instructions from an author, we are forced to critically examine our own assumptions.
Right, our assumptions about what actually creates that lifespan gap.
Exactly. Without a manual, the title basically acts as a mirror for our own theories on endurance. Like, are we putting our faith in the machine's thermal design or the owner's daily habits?
Yeah, that's the big debate. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? Well, whether you are actively out there car shopping, or maybe you're just trying to keep your current daily driver alive for one more winter.
Which is a struggle we all know.
Totally. But understanding that there is a definitive mechanical gap in vehicle lifespans, I think it changes how you value your investments. It makes you look at the thermal stress happening in your own driveway a little differently.
It really does. It completely reframes the idea of a car's lifespan. It shifts it from just how long until it breaks to how well is it managing its own destruction.
Managing its own destruction. I like that. Which brings us right back to that treasure map we talked about at the start, and it leaves you with one final thing to think about as you hit the road today.
Yeah, what's the big takeaway?
When a car finally manages to cross that elusive 300,000 kilometer mark, is it ultimately a testament to the flawless heat-shedding engineering of the machine or the relentless everyday dedication of the human behind the wheel?